Hello, welcome to Block of the Month. It is that time of the month again. Where has the time gone? Where?
It's September.
Gemma, where has it gone?
Don't know. It's September. The kids are all going back to school.
They are.
I don't think I can deal with this.
That is why you might notice that this is a little sneaky pre-record because,
Yes.
you know, my kids are starting a new school, so I thought I'd probably best be there.
What, in the same county?
Well, you know, yeah, to take them and pick them up, drop them off, do all that kind of, parenting thing that we do every now and then.
Tea and all of that.
Yeah, well, feed them?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Shocker. Shocker.
Have I got to do that for like a full 18 years?
I know,
I
right?
didn't sign up for that.
No, you don't actually.
No.
I think they get to a stage where they can cook for you. This is not a bad plan.
When does that start?
Oh, I'm thinking Frederick James is tall enough now. He's as tall as me.
Do you know what though? When I used to teach, I was always suspicious when they used to bring me their cooking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You never know if they've washed their hands before
Pick
they've
their nose.
been cooking.
Yeah, all that.
Oh, I have to share this with you. It was a moment. It was a John Cole Morgan moment.
Oh.
Him and Emily were discussing vegetables they liked.
Oh, yes, I was there. Oh, it was beautiful.
And didn't like. And John was saying that he didn't like broccoli. Emily said she did.
And he doesn't like peas.
And he doesn't like peas. Emily said she did like
loves
peas. And John said, oh, no, they look a bit too much like boogers for him. And Emily turned around and she said, oh, yes, I like to eat those too. And promptly shoved her finger up her nose.
She did.
Just
She
delightful.
did.
And smiled and laughed and thought it was very funny. You can get away with that when you're 3.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get away with it quite so well.
No.
Not quite so well.
No.
But she did it in a
Bless
charming way. And
She does
John,
many things in a charming way and John just sort of melts.
he's such a good sport. He just rolled with that one.
He did.
Roll with it.
He did.
Bless
Hey,
him.
look, we have got, this is our beautiful Baltimore quilt. It is a Lisa Chandler. Oh, yes.
Stunner.
If you did the Oriental Baltimore, then you can add it in if you haven't yet, made it all.
Yeah.
You can add it in. You can have this as a standalone quilt. You can have standalone blocks. If you've got a favourite block that you love, then you can do a favourite block. We have done the parasols.
That was my
We
one.
have done the butterflies.
We have.
And now we are about to do where has it gone? Oh, down here. The hemp.
The hemp block.
The hemp block, which is
Beautiful.
just beautiful. It's got all the greens. We love all the greens. So I've found you some beautiful, beautiful brilliant greens, an ombre in there so that you can, well, it kind of saves you money having an ombre, doesn't it?
Nice.
Because you've got all the different shades that you can work your way through. So this is the block. This is the kit. You can see it beautifully down here. Or maybe you can't. Yeah, no, you can. You have
quite
got
sure.
in there 5 fat quarters. Let me show you this. Delight. Here we are. There we go. So you have got, well, you buy your instructions separately. That's always the deal. And then you have got your black for your background. You have got this lovely, lovely...
It's a gorgeous smoked batik, isn't it?
It is. It's a beautiful batik. You've got 2 beautiful batiks in there. So this is for your stems. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to call that. And then you've got 3 different leaf ones that you can mix and match. This is an ombre. Gemma had a little heart attack when she cut a kit. She was like, do they ombre all the way through from dark to light?
Or dark to light and then dark again.
Yeah. No. It's dark, light, and then it goes light, dark again.
Yes.
So it was all good. So you've got all of this to play with. And it helps if I get it the right way around, because if I get it the right way around, although you can use it the other way if you want even more options. Tilly Rose loves her fabric the wrong way around. Yeah. But here you've got those little splatters of gold in there as well, which is just rather fabulous and sits very nicely with, dun, dun, dun. Here we go. One of Lisa's, of course, in there as well, her flowering gum, which is just beautiful. We have put in a thread in there as well for you. And so that is your kit to make this block today. Do we just have that on the show? My golly goodness, no, we do not. We also have foolproof flower embroidery. It's a little bit of a treat, this book. It's not the cheapest, but it is very beautiful. So this is...
It's not just beauty and no substance though either, is it? This is a proper authority, this
It
book.
really is. And look at all of these. Really, I mean, I've never heard of half of these, but they're just really beautiful. It's a stitch library.
It really
in
is.
there. I mean, look at all of those. Stitching basics. Yes, knotting on and off, all these sorts of things. Embroidery samples. You can really have a good play with these. Stitches for twigs. Nice. Calyxes and buds. It's got the whole lot in there. It's a really well thought out book. It commands the money that they're charging for it, for sure.
It's not just any old flower embroidery though. It's foolproof.
Foolproof, which means even I could possibly do it. Add texture, colour and sparkle to your organic garden.
Yep.
Yes, please.
80 different stitches.
It's rather
400
fabulous, isn't
combinations.
it? So Gemma Lar chose that.
I did.
She really. I've got nowhere to put it now, Gemma.
It can go in my handbag.
I can go in your hand.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'll take it home.
I know. I'm gonna pop it on the shelf over here so we can look at it.
But I really liked it because you've got textured stems.
Well, that's just it. If you want to add anything extra in, then you absolutely can. Or if you wanted to try, we've got stem stitch today. If you wanted to try a different stitch, then you could add that in. Make it your own.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about the Baltimores, isn't it? Is that you could go in and embellish with different stitches, and that's why I thought this was the perfect accompaniment.
Well, do you know what? If you are doing any kind of hand stitching, then you might like to look at these. We are down to the last few of the micro-tipped embroidery scissors here.
Well, we had a good old count up, didn't we, and found some more, so I've loaded those in.
I love these because they are so sharp at the tip. Just perfect. Yes. And then the easy snips, or the EZ snips, as SJ likes to call them. These are great because you can get really close. So when you're snipping an end, you can get really close. Perfect when you are cutting ends with your quilting as well. And then your precision cut applique scissors. These are knife edge blades, and it allows you for easy access for hard to reach areas. They just sit at a little angle. They're really useful. We're down to the last ones. These are on a massive discount.
Yeah, the micro tip embroidery.
How much?
Half price.
Half price, there you go.
£4.50.
There you go.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You can't get a coffee for that in a lot of places now, can you?
You really can't. You really can't.
So, yeah.
Right. Also on the show today, whilst I just get myself ready over here.
Get yourself together, Tash.
We've all been waiting a long time for that.
We still will for a while.
You can see some of Lisa's beautiful fabrics in the background here. What I would say to you is check out our website, because today we have loaded a whole load of bolt ends. We've never done Lisa Chandler bolt ends ever. Ever, but we are at the stage where we have quite a few with just a smidge on here, a smidge in there. Maybe we don't have any more of that fabric left anymore, or maybe it's a larger print that we think is going to work really well for the backing of your Lisa Chandler quilts. So just bear that in mind. So some of these that you see have not got very much on the bolt, check them out. They will be by now. This is the magic of television. By now.
Well, we've had to wait, haven't we, until young Izzy is no longer in the building, because she'd have got all really unnecessary.
She gets really upset when we bolt end, because she's like, you can't cut up that fabric and sell it at a discount.
Well, she says, but it's worth the money. Why are we doing this?
I know.
To make room, Petal, to make room.
And it is just a room making.
We've only got a skiddly bit left. We couldn't do it if it was full bolts.
If it's enough for a full show, that's something different. If it's not, move along the bus, please.
If we've sold enough of it to be sensible business wise, then we can let the last bit go.
Sensible?
What? But
what?
These are silly prices.
So yeah, check those out. So you will get in your pattern. Now bear in mind, because we are the ones that print off your patterns, we will be printing them off single-sided. That is what we do for you when you get your Baltimores, because we know that it's really annoying to have to trace out all of these patterns otherwise, and you're gonna have to look and make sense of what goes where. And you can see 3D leaf there, so that's going to be a case of we're going to cut along there and stick that on there.
Lovely.
Right.
Paper scissors.
Rock, paper scissors.
Don't use your lovely new Inspira scissors. Why don't we use our fancy pants scissors for paper, Natasha?
Because it blunts them, quite frankly.
It does.
And you don't want that in your life. All right. Do you know what? I know that we show this every time, but it's one of those things that if you're just joining us for the first time, and we have lots of you joining us new on a regular basis, and I also need to say hello to our YouTubers, because we always say hello to all our Facebookers, and then we forget our YouTubers. And you might be YouTubing because you are catching up. Well, and that is the other thing to bear in mind, is that we also know, because we do a bit of sewing ourselves, that sometimes you don't actually sew at quite the speed you think you might. That's absolutely fine as well. What that means is that these shows remain on catch-up for your delectation.
They do.
Whenever you require it.
I mean, it might be 2024 and people are watching us. Who knows?
Do you know
if
what?
it is, hi. Hello in the future.
Hi in the
We're
future.
speaking to you
Hi
from
in the future.
past.
Yes. Like a time capsule.
Yes.
Be fabulous, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Just fabulous.
absolutely.
So, get your sellotape out. Bit of cutting and sticking before we start.
Love a bit of cutting and sticking. And Natasha, these are nice scissors that you've got here, but these are your old scissors.
They're my old ones. They've got paper written on
They're
them.
the ones that have had a bit of abuse, perhaps, over the years.
No, what happened was I bought some really beautiful new ones and went, well, feel bad about these scissors now. So I made them my paper scissors.
But you know, you still want a decent set.
Of course you do, of course you do. Because the other thing is that when I do any kind of applique, and you know that I love a steamer seam applique or anything like that, I want a very sharp pair, a good sharp pair. These are not rubbish scissors.
No.
It's not like I've got the kids or anything. Just making it clear. It's that actually we've done that so that I've got a really nice sharp pair, so that when I do applique and I cut out all my bits and bobs.
We Bonder web as well, and
my Bonder web, yeah, it's paper
Yeah.
backed, but I still want it to cut through my fabric.
Yeah.
So you're going to mix that together, and then you're going to sellotape it down.
What we're basically saying is, if your scissors have had, you know, they've had a life, and you fancy a nice new shiny pair,
It's
and
a
you
great
can't
excuse.
justify it, get yourself your nice new scissors for your fabric,
Yeah.
and let them be reborn into fabulous paper scissors. But do make sure you write on the blades paper, or that you know that they are for paper, because the minute you try and cut your fabric with them, you won't thank yourself.
No.
Because they won't be quite as snippy.
I can't remember actually if these were the ones that, and this is no coincidence, by the way. Well, no, it is a coincidence that my now ex-husband tried to use to cut the baler twine on the. Yeah, he was trying to be helpful with the horse's hay. Don't use my fabric scissors on horse hay.
For anyone who was wondering why that marriage failed.
Yeah, right. Unreasonable behaviour.
We laugh.
With my fabric scissors. No, it wasn't. I mean, that sounds really bad, doesn't it?
We are joking. We
are
do
joking.
jest.
That's how we get through. Right. So you are going to, this is all about the leaves, and they go down in alphabetical order as well. Okay, so all your A's will go down there, you'll put those down, then layer up your B's and then your C's. So it's not that A, B, C or anything like that is the different fabric colours, it's the order on which you place them down.
Well, that's a bit clever.
Yeah, so what I would do is when you trace these up, you have various ways to do this, but generally the best way I have found freezer paper, Gemelar freezer paper. And what I would implore you to do, I'm imploring.
Gosh.
I know, right?
This early on a Monday, imploring.
Crikey
bobs.
Is when you trace off, don't do it on a cutting mat either because it's really bumpy, but you'll have to bear with me. You can do that, but also just like make it so that it's kind of a full leaf, because you're going to put that down and then put B over the top. All right, so just finish off the shape of that full leaf. Call it A. All right, and then here you can always do that. But ultimately, your leaf might come to there, an A. And if you want to call that A1 and A2, so that you know which one's which, then do that too. And then what I would do is, and you've seen me do this a lot with freezer paper, especially when we're doing needle turn, is to then, I've got here, because I always tell you to use a Teflon pressing sheet. Now, we've got those on the website and they're great. if you don't happen to have that to hand, you can get away with a piece of parchment paper, a baking sheet.
Yes.
It's not ideal and you have to throw it away afterwards, but if you're in a jam, you can do that.
Well, it's very helpful, Natasha.
Thanks. I try. Very trying, really. So the majority of these are going to be, like I say,
Oh, there's a lovely thing about a snippy sound, isn't there?
Well, there is.
I don't know why I like it so much.
Isn't there? Now, hang on, I'm just having a moment. I want that to be that way up, don't I? So I should have done it on the shiny side, but I should have drawn on the shiny side, Gem.
Oh, okay.
But whoops,
we live and learn.
we do. Also, when you come to then pop that onto your fabric, like so, it's the shiny side that then attaches to your fabric, and you can then cut a little way around it, so you add your seam allowance. I've done this on a really tiny one, haven't I?
Well, that's okay.
Can't find
Everyone can learn.
I took my micro snip scissors with me
Oh.
too, and I've lost them. What have I done with
Well,
them?
do you need to use a new pair?
I'm going to open a new pair. I'm going to go crazy and open a new pair. I'm going to take one off stock.
Spoil yourself. I'm doing it now. I'm literally doing it now.
I don't care. I'm just
It's
going
a
to go
good
for
job we pre-recorded this and I've reserved the stock, isn't it,
Thanks.
eh?
Yeah.
For my promotion.
So they're great because they give you that ability to just
They've got the most divine point,
snip in.
haven't they?
They really
Oh.
have. And so that's what you're going to do. I would, you know what, put on your favourite movie or your favourite TV show, you know, what you're watching on Netflix at the minute. Or else you could always watch us, couldn't you?
Yeah. There you go.
And
That might be your favourite TV show.
it might be. I mean, who knows?
Lovely.
Who knows?
Thanks.
Who knows? Now, you can use a paintbrush into your best press. We do that. Have we got any of our pointy tools left, Gem? Because the stiletto is just fabulous. It gets protected. Well, it should do. I've bent the end of mine because I didn't, and I should have done because mine travel.
In theory, we have sold them all.
Okay.
I will have a little shenanigate in the drawers,
Okay.
and if I find one or two, I will make sure they're loaded for Monday.
We have done this many, many, many times now, but again, for anyone just starting, you are going to apply your flatter spray. Do you know what, Gem? I think we should put flatter on a little special deal for today as well.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
Yeah, so check out the website because that's what my pen is loaded with. It's loaded with flatter. And what that does, it's an all-natural... Well, I mean, it should be like a starch spray. That's what it should
It's a
be.
starchless starch spray.
It's a starchless starch spray, if that makes any sense to
Nope.
anyone.
It's a pressing spray, and it makes things flatter.
Yeah, flatter.
Which is the key
idea
point
of it, yes. So this is your needle, well, this is like cheating needle turn. Needle turn, technically, I guess you would just fold under the template with your needle, but we are going to help it on its way with a pokey tool here and just pressing it there. If you've got a nice long run of a curve, then you're going to want to use your the edge of your, swap over hands and just use the edge of your iron to just sweep that fabric on. That really helps too. And then you get a nice curve on there. Oh, we've got a little thread. So that's what we're going to do with our flowers.
Lovely.
Our flowers are leaves. There we go. I've got a little
They
thread
are
there that I
leaves.
will just press under. Or
It's
just
very
snip
mindful,
away.
this, isn't it?
Do you know it is? And I often find I just get quiet. I just like it. A big thank you and a big shout out to our lovely Auntie Lizzie, who has been helping us in between with just finishing off some of the blocks because I haven't had time.
Incredible.
She has been incredible. Now where you've got the end bits, you can trim or just again turn under. This is your needle turn bit, so when you come to stitch it down you can just turn it under like so.
Beautiful.
And you're going, and that's why it's called needle turn, because you use your needle to turn it under, to keep it under.
Nice.
And then you slip stitch it in. Should we have a look at slip stitching a leaf on?
Oh yes.
Let's have a little look at that, shall we? I haven't preloaded a needle. Do I have many needles around the place? Oh, that looks like one that might work.
I would come and try and find these things for you. I feel most lazy. However, I am sitting on a chair that has suddenly become very squeaky and creaky, and I don't know why. So I am desperately trying not to move.
That's all right. That is all right.
If anyone's heard a creak here and there,
Creak or
apologies.
squeak. I had to change the chairs over, didn't I? Because my wheel dropped off. Literally, the wheels are dropping off. I'm like, what is going on?
This is life now.
Just so that we all know before we get going on this, right? We've obviously got our template ready. The other thing to do will be to press your fat quarter into quarters.
It's the oldest trick in the book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Finding the middle.
Well, it's not just
And
that.
getting your
Because of how
placement.
we've done Lisa's template.
Yeah.
I say how we've done, how Lisa's done her own template, she need our help. You can then align these quarter marks, which is where you have stuck them together.
Lovely.
And then you know that you're always going to have them lined up. Now, we have got on the show the carbon paper, the copy paper.
To copy.
That you put underneath, we've shown this before, and then you go over the edge. It's like a waitress's paper, you know, where they do the duplicate.
Yeah, it's called Dressmakers carbon paper.
Carbon paper. It has various names, but Dressmakers carbon paper. So you'll pop that underneath, carbon side down, and just press under. When I map these out, I don't do them all. I just do like the start and finish of leaves. I might do like that bit there, and then the start and finish. I do these because I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm just going to do these round the edge today, just to show you how these are going to lie. You will take your template out, and this is why we use the starch spray, so that it just rebounds really nicely. Okay, and then I'm going to go on her because it's actually working today. So you can tie a knot, you can start it off however you wish. Do you know what? Lizzie's block didn't quite arrive in time, bless her. But
That's
she
all
said,
right.
you can show the back of it if you wish. Bless her. So as you come...
The Postal Service hasn't been its most fabulous and reliable best.
Do you know what it hasn't? You can, all right, if you wish. And this is another little tip that I just like to share with people here and there. Not with that one though, I won't be. This one, yay! If you want to baste this in place, then you can do. And if you just want to baste that end bit down, then you can do.
So what Natasha's got here is a fabulous Soline glue pen.
Oh, the Soline glue pens are just brilliant for anything like this. Any kind of fabric where you just need that little bit of temporary fix.
Yes.
Then it's absolutely perfect. So it might be if you want to hold it absolutely in place, you might want to just dab it with a little bit of that. Pop it in place where you want it to be, and then it just helps. Now you can see here at the end that I will turn with my needle under, so I'm not worrying about that bit on the end. So I'm just going to, I've come up here, and I'm going to go in on the edge, along, I'm going to come, I'm going to go down then directly, so that's where my thread comes out, and I'm going to go down directly opposite. Then you go along, you come up, and where you come up, you want to go again in on that edge, exactly where you've come up, go along a little bit on that corner and go down exactly next to it, so that you just don't see any of your stitching, but everything is held in place. Okay, and then when you get to that corner, like I say, you're going to use your needle to push that under and get that nice folded edge.
Beautiful.
And that's what you do. That is your needle turn applique. All right. Now we have got then we have got stem stitch on some of these. So let's show you some of this. You've got your thread in your kit. I would go down to 2 strands. Now sometimes they can twist madly. That's okay. Just take one, because you've got 6 stranded threads here, and just pull one out. Okay, then get a second. Don't try and get them all out together. It's not gonna work.
Ask you how you know.
Oh, do you know what? I get overexcited and think that I'm going to manage to thread everything all together. It's just not the case. Okay, so then again, you can knot your end. You can start however you wish with these. It's entirely up to you. And again, this is where these snips and where the applique snips come in really handy, because you can get really close to pick any little threads off that you need. Right, so your stem stitch, let's start this off up here. You are going to, because I realised that last month we didn't really do the stem stitch.
No.
So
you learn through doing these things, don't you, that actually it's all about having the right tools for the job.
So you are going to go forward bigger than you would a normal stitch, then come up halfway. Okay, and then you want to decide when you do your stem stitch whether to have your loops to the left or to the right.
Okay.
Be consistent, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then you go forward kind of half the length that you've just done. Come up through where you finished off before. Okay, and again you want to make sure that my loop is staying to the left again. Okay, so I'll go forward, I'll come back up where I came out last time and keep my loop to the left. Forward, let me see, forward, come back exactly where I came out last time, and there you get, that is your stem stitch. That is how you are going to decorate all of these. That's what you're going to do there. Okay, now you have got a few 3D leaves in here. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they're done in just a slightly different way. Okay. If you have got template plastic, I have somewhere.
I've lost count of how many times.
Do you know
what?
Because it's see-through. It's see-through. I put it down and I can't find it anymore.
But also, you use it for lots of different things.
I do. I get through it like a rate of knots.
That to me, there were various things I tried to do without. And I watched you working and got, like, you know, envy over how your projects came out so well. And it was silly things like trying to do without a sew-line glue pen, trying to do without template plastic. And once you've bought these things, assuming you are, you know, tidy and organised, you've got them.
I don't know what you mean
by that, Gemma. And it makes all the difference.
Otherwise, you've
to your makes.
Try and do it with. And so this is what we're going to do. We will use some of this instead. So you've got a couple of these 3D leaves. You will cut out your template, which you will use for template plastic, because you will do it properly. I'm just really loath to open yet another one when I know I've got an almost full one somewhere. So annoying, I don't know what I've done with it.
Right.
Now, the dotted line you are not going to sew, so you want to transfer that when you do these leaves. Let's do this on maybe, oh, actually, no, let's stick with this, all right?
Do you know what you need to do?
What
you
do I
need
need
to
to do?
remember when was the last time you used it.
Well, it was only at the
work
weekend.
out-
That's the
Oh.
thing. That is the thing. It really wasn't very long ago
Oh.
at all.
It was me
So-
thinking you'd say, now, what was the last project I made with it?
No,
and then you'd
literally.
find those pieces
Literally
and go,
Sunday.
there it is. There
Literally.
it is.
No,
Oh, okay.
Bank Holiday Monday. So you're going to trace round.
I can't help you then. You're beyond help.
So many people say that, Jem. I can't tell you.
get
Can't
away with
even
it.
begin to tell
I
you.
get away with it. Oh dear.
It's all right. We're friends. It's fine.
We are.
Apparently.
Of so many years. Oh, rude.
Now, if you want to, you can just snip it. See, this is why paper scissors, don't use them for cutting your fabric. Doesn't work. Look, see, it's made a right old chewy faff of that. And yet, if there was paper on it, it would be fine.
Weirdly,
That's
yes.
the funny thing. So you have got your fabrics right sides together. We are going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to show you the very first thing that you want to do is make sure that your needle is centrally placed. The next thing you want to do is turn that stitch length down to a really short one. 1.6, 1.8 will do an absolute treat. You are then going to just straight stitch. Turn it around.
It's so satisfying watching you do some slow stitching. Oh, and there she goes.
Now the reason that we do the small stitch is so that we can turn it through, we can poke it through. These are your 3D leaves. I'll show you where they are in a moment. And then I'm going to cut myself a seam allowance. Not a very thick one, you don't need a very big one, but a seam allowance. It's like when we do the Tilda toys, I say this every time, it's like when we do the Tilda toys, you cut the seam allowance afterwards because they're too small otherwise to do. You might want to leave yourself a little bit more of a seam allowance where you're going to turn it through. And then that's exactly what you are going to do. You're going to turn it through, but actually, if you don't have a turning through tool, why don't you? Because even on little things like this, it really helps. Might be like, what? Why? But you can just get that in there.
I think a lot of people have got like a chopstick or something, but this is a whole new level of special.
It just means that you can then turn it through. This is what, look at this, I broke this, trying to ram it in the car. It got stuck in the door and it
I
broke.
remember how upset / annoyed you were about that.
Yes, I was. And then that end bit, you can just turn through. But this is why you want those little stitches, because you're going to be giving it a good old poke, and then you're going to be giving it a good press. So really, you know, run it along that seam. There we go. And then when you give it a press over here, you can turn that seam allowance under. Do you know what I do with my seam allowances sometimes when I've got them turned under, Jem?
What do you do?
Run a tiny bit of quilter's wash away tape on it.
Do you?
Just to hold it together. And then you can slip stitch that shut.
Tell you what, that stuff is used in so many different
So many different
applications.
things. But then that gives you a 3D leaf. You can slip stitch that closed, you can do your stem stitch through there, and you're good to go. Let me show you on the block where this is. Got your little 3D one. Now it says on here, because you've got another 3D leaf there, and it says that on here you're just going to like tack that down, because actually that will slip underneath.
Nice.
So you get that layering effect. But everything has got texture and 3D on this quilt. I absolutely love it. It's so tactile.
And you can
really
add extra
beautiful.
elements in, can't you? You could put more 3D leaves in if you wanted to.
Of course you can.
It's your quilt. Do it your way.
Yes. So that's how you're going to do your 3D leaves, and then that just leaves our stems to show. And that is everything that's in this block. It's a really lovely one. And this, yes, Lizzie Crangle, you've probably got this in the post to you by now, going, dear Auntie Lizzie, please, 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 could you make it possible to finish this?
She does a beautiful job.
She does a
and we are very
beautiful job. Absolutely beautiful job. So, with our stems and things, you want to cut them on the bias. Now you can be really, really, really technical about it, or you can just fold your fabric diagonally and use that as the line to cut along. And then you're going to grab your long ruler.
Natasha.
Yes.
I had someone ask me the other day, who has sewn quite a bit actually, what the bias is, what that's all about. What's all this bias nonsense? What's that about?
Right.
So perhaps you want to explain while you're chopping, because you're very good at this.
Okay.
Are you in the front cam, or are you on overhead? I'm just checking.
Oh, I'm front.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's like I'm bringing planes in.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah. Are you ready, everyone?
When fabric is woven, the warp goes up and the weft goes left. And that is stable fabric. It's woven fabric, it's fine. But as soon as you cut diagonally across that, the little fabrics go, ah, ah. So if I show you here, the warp goes up and there's not much give. The weft goes left. Not much give. But if I do it where I've cut through it, look at the bend on that. And that is your bias edge, and it just means that those threads can splay, and it means that they can move. Now, if we're doing things like half square triangles and things like that, we will flatter spray it so that we don't get that move and we want it to stay where it is. But this bias for us is really handy when we want any kind of curves or anything like that. So we are going to cut ourselves. Not that sound, no, we're not going to cut ourselves. We're going to cut. That came out wrong, Gemma.
Yes, it did.
You know what I mean. You can use a bias binder maker to make yourself beautiful bias binding. Beautiful. You can do that. You can absolutely do that. Or, let's have a little look here with this thread. You can let's say, for example, now Jem, you did give me the other day a nice new white pencil, didn't you?
I did, my darling, I did.
Here it is.
And fabulous value it is too.
So say we want to go on that curve, we'll do it that curve there, okay? Then I am going to come up on here and I'm going to do a running stitch with my fabric facing away from the stem. So say my stem is going to be like that. Can you see that right? Yeah. Then I'm going to do a running stitch on this curve. You will take lots of care and do nice tiny little stitches. Okay. And your fabric is happy to curve around.
So satisfying.
Yeah. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could even machine stitch that side down. Okay. But then, I'm just going to bring my needle up on the other side here. You will then turn that like that, and then needle turn that to whatever width it is that you want. And it can be nice and wonky. and then you're going to do that whole slip stitchy thing. So coming up, going along, and then going down, going up. And you can either go along or you can just pin it in place and go down on the spot, go along, come up literally on the end, and then go down if you want. If you want to run it a little way like a ladder stitch like we just did earlier on that leaf, then you can, but otherwise just run it along, and that will give you your curve. See, it just curves around like that, and there you go. But yeah, you just want to go down where you've come up, run along underneath if you want. You can then go in on that edge if you want and go along and go down. That's entirely up to you which way round you want to do it, but that is how I would sew those down. So we've got our little leaves that we're going to show, we've got our 3D leaves, and then we've got our stem stitch. That is everything you need for this block.
Fabulous.
Hurrah! Hurrah!
Many,
hurrah.
many hours of wonderful mindful stitching
Well,
to
it
be
is.
enjoyed.
So check out our bolt end sale, because these will now be loaded on the website and live for today. We've saved them going live just for you for today. So maybe you've done the Oriental Baltimore and you want to back your quilt in it, then please do. We've made sure that there are some 3 metre lengths and things in there for you, because we know that you will back your quilt with that, and just have fun with it. Maybe you want to make a jacket with it as well, like beautiful for dressmaking. Gemma,
Yes.
is there anything I've forgotten to say?
Oh, the pressure. The pressure.
I know, right? The pressure.
I don't think so. Apart from, we'll see everyone tomorrow.
Just have fun. Huh?
We'll see everyone tomorrow
Yes.
with that there Sarah Payne.
So Sarah Payne is in tomorrow doing a Christmas show.
She is.
She is, with a light up Rudolph
Yes.
tree skirt.
She's delighted as well, do you know? Do you know why she's delighted?
Because she's got electrics in it.
Well, there is that.
And that's her newfound favourite geeky thing. And I love that.
But also,
Yeah.
she has the option to wear flats.
Because she's working with you!
And she said, I'm actually, for the first time ever, probably going to be the tallest person on the screen. And I said, yes, yes, Sarah, yes, you will. Bless her.
Not even something that comes into my radar.
No,
No,
never,
amazing.
never.
God love you both.
Yes, thank you.
The little people.
Let's just hope there's someone tall to hang things up before the show.
Oh, crikey, yeah.
Or we'll get
Otherwise,
the ladder.
there's step ladder.
Yes,
And can you do a risk assessment
I
first,
shall.
please?
Yes. Yes.
Or I'll just teach you how to shut it again,
That'd be
because
lovely.
that looked like a challenge
Yeah,
last time.
yeah. All right.
Do that.
Let's not be smart. And then Jane on Wednesday has a very special quilt.
She
So
does have
we've
a
got
beautiful quilt.
beautiful things lined up for you this week.
So take care. Have a lovely rest of the week. Thank you ever so much for watching, and we will see you then. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Bye.